Hello everyone. Welcome back to Python on Phone programming series. So in this class, we are going to discuss about list in Python. So in the previous classes, we have seen what is a variable and how to write conditions in Python, and even we have seen how to write loops as well. So now we will discuss about list data type in Python. So what is a list and why do we need it? See, before discussing about list, let's discuss about variables first. So what is a variable? So variable is a data holder. So in which you can store the data and you can use that variable in the program wherever you want. But the problem with the variable is a variable can store only one value at a time. That means something, let's say you have a variable called a and you have a is equal to 10 here. Okay. And now let's print that value using a print statement. And now in the line number 3, I will say a is equal to 90. So what will happen after line number 3 is, so a value will be modified to 90. Okay. So because variables can hold only one value at a time. But let's say you have a use case where you want to store multiple values. For example, you have 6 subjects in your uh, class, assume that, and you want to store the marks of those each subjects. So how can you do it? Let's say you have subjects like mathematics, English, okay, some social sciences and some other subjects. So you want to save or store the marks in variables in Python programming. You can define separate variables for each subject's mark, but that is not maintainable, guys. See, in this case we have only like 6 subjects, that is fine, but let's assume that you have hundreds of data items you want to store in the Python program. So in that case, the single, I mean, normal variable cannot, mm, I mean, support what we want to achieve here. So in those cases, we use list. So list will allow us to store multiple data items under a single name. Let's do that here. Okay, I will remove everything from this program. And now I will define a variable called, I mean, marks here. And now for making it a list, we need to use a square brackets. In the square bracket, whatever the data items that you want to store, you can mention here with a comma separated. That means if you have 6 elements, you can do that something like 100 comma 98 comma like 78 comma 65 comma something like this, so on and so forth. You just need to use, I mean, separate each data item with a comma. So now you can see that under a single name called marks, we have stored almost like 5 items, data items here. So let's print out these values if you want to take a look at it, how this works. And now let me save this file. So by clicking this floppy, and I will save in this here, and I will name it as my list dot py. Save this one and now run the program by clicking this play button. Now you can see here. So all the elements got displayed. And one more thing we need to remember about list is, see, since every data item is separated by a comma, so we can access individual items using a index value. So which means every data item in a list will have a separate index value. So starting from 0. So that means if you want to pull only 100 from the list, you can use marks of 0. And next its index value is 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so on and so forth. If you have more items, you can go using the index of that particular item. See, let's say in this case, I want to print 98. So what is the index value of 98? So starting from 0, so 100 is 0 and this is 1. So now if you say marks of 1, you will get the second element of the list. save this program and run it. See here, you got the 98. So similarly, guys, I mean, you can access any individual item in Python program using index of that particular item here. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, now marks of 3. Okay, and you will get the fourth element of the list. And there is one more thing that we need to in fact, it's a very interesting thing. So if you want to print the last element, okay, if you want to print the last element, we can simply do marks of -1. So if you say -1, it will print the last item. So which means using a negative indexing, we can access the elements from the back side of the list. Okay, from the back side of the list. That also I will show you. See, marks of -1, something like this. Let's save this program and run it here. See, for the last print statement, you got 87 because we used -1. So we got 87. So if you say -1, you will get 87. If you say -2, you will get 56. If you say -3, you will get 78, so on and so forth. Okay, so which means individual data items can be accessed using negative indexing as well in Python. Okay, so which is a very good feature, you can say. And now you might have a doubt if the list can store only integer type of data. No. So integer can store, list can store any type of data. So under a single name. So which means, like first, for example, first item you have a numerical value, second item you have a string, or third item boolean, something. You can store whatever the value that you want in the list. Let me show you that as well. So let me take some like L is equal to some new list, and under that here I will give some text as a first item, and second item some numerical value, and third item again like a boolean thing like a true or false, and the fourth element maybe some floating point, and anything that you want. Okay, so we can store anything we want under a list. Okay, and now see, since we can access individual items using the index value, and even we can update the list as well. So similarly, let's say something like L of 1. Okay, so instead of 32, you want to make it 100. Okay, so now if you print this list that we defined L here, right? So now we will get 100 as a second element here. So save this program and let's run it. See, yeah, you got it right. So we got first element as of is next 100 true, and 9 some floating value, and so on and so forth. Okay, guys, so this is how we can define list in a Python. Okay, so list once again, list can hold multiple data items under a single name. Okay, so it need not to be a single data type, it can be any data type. In fact, list can store another list as well inside it. So something like this. Let me take another list like list underscore 1. Okay, so here I will say I will take a list here. Okay, so let's say I have 1 2 3, and as a fourth element I will have another list inside it one. So this is called nested list. So here I will have like a and something like this. Okay, if you want, you can, if you have a condition where you want to store another list inside another list, something like this, you can do that as well, guys. Okay, so we can do, we can store n number of nested list inside a list. Okay, so if you finally print this list, you will get to see that entire thing here. Yeah, you see here, right? So this is how, guys, this is how we can define list in Python programming. And I hope you like this video, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel, that way you can support me. And in the next class, okay, so in the next class we will discuss few functions that you can perform on the list. Till then, take care guys and see you soon.